YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. I got a couple of viewer-submitted replays here. These are just going to be a couple of different vampire accounts build. Air, how come you're not playing your own? I didn't have time tonight because I filmed a really long Skarsnik campaign. So I was glad people sent this in. This map, though, look at that breakup of the line of sight here. It would suck if you'd brought artillery and hadn't noticed. A lot of terrain there. So let's check out the armies here. Orc Biggins, Black Orcs, Savage Orc Biggins, two of them. Crimson Killers, another Orc Biggin on the flank. Looks like we have a Night Goblin out there in the flank. Maybe try and use some of his fast moving to get around. Goblin Big Boss, Azag the Slaughter, and an Orc Shaman. I don't know if I agree with having two different sorcerers, but I don't know. Azag's a decent unit in melee. He's got a couple of Goblin Archers and Orc Boar Chariot. Definitely disagree with the use of a Boar Chariot. I don't think they're worthwhile. Two Squig Herds. We'll see how this is going to play up against a Vampire Count Army. And the person who submitted this, let's take a look at their army real quick. They brought two Mortis engines. He was basically talking about maybe potentially using like crazy stacking buffs and stuff here too. So let's see. What do we got here? A Vampire Lady. Vlad von Karstein. The Vampire Lady in terms of spells, just Spirit Leech, it looks like. So trying to help pull down enemy leaders. What the heck? Necromancer on a corpse cart? Is there a similar one? Sure enough. Wow. Two Mortis engines, two corpse carts. Mostly weak infantry with just skeleton warriors, some skeleton spears, but we do have the Sternsmen in the back. But yeah, I mean, mostly weak infantry. So this ought to be interesting. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see if the buffs from these units can get him over the hump here, because you do get pretty significant jumps here from Unholy Lodestone. It helps replenish hit points faster, and then Vigor Mortis gives +8 melee attack and +8 melee defense. That's a pretty significant buff. Let's see, are these skeletons under the influence of it? No, I can't click on them for some reason. It looks like they are. Let's see what the Vigor Mortis looks like. Yeah, +8 here. It's, well, I said that. Vigor Mortis is this one. Yeah, they're all under the influence of it, so his whole army is getting a pretty nice buff. Skeleton Warriors a little bit weak, but buffed up like that, they might be okay. Let's just see how it plays out. Just the one Grave Guard, but he has some Horrors here too to help kind of poison the enemy army, but I mean, he's up against some Savage Orcs, which ought to do quite a lot of damage versus skeletons. And then Crimson Killers, those guys might be absurd. Let's just see how it plays out. I mean, the ability to rip hit points off of Orc units is going to be significant with two Mortis engines. And since there's no Boar Boys, we're not going to be able to have any units that can kind of crush their way through and try and get to these Mortis engines. And then the combination of buffs and skeletons and everything else up against the Crimson Killers might be significant. See how he deals with these Goblin Archers. No range, of course, for the Vampire, but he doesn't want to attack uphill into this. I mean, there's a big crescent of greenskins on the hills here, so the greenskin player's doing the right thing, trying to force the Vampire forward, but rather the Vampire just going to fall backwards. That probably makes sense. I don't think these guys could cause any significant damage to the Vampires, especially if the Vampires are going to be in the woods, so this may force the greenskins down. So nice play there by the Vampire player, not being too impatient, charging up that hill into this mess. The Foot of Gork here on the Orc Shaman, but he's also got Here We Go. Let's see. No potion? Or is there a potion? I think there is a potion on the Goblin Big Boss. Azag the Slaughter. He's got quite a few spells. Maybe trying to do a terror thing. Terror wouldn't work on the vampires, though, so I'm not sure why you'd bring Aspect of Dread Knight. Alright, let's see if they can survive it. Skeleton Warriors taking a little bit of damage. Crypt Horrors taking damage, but they're replenishing it just about as fast as they take it here due to the presence of the corpse carts. Looks like there's going to be a charge, and he's moving up all of his support units. Oh, Crimson Killers? Are they going to get caught? No. Okay, they charge. They would start doing immense damage to these skeletons, I would think. But here comes the Mortis engine. Both Mortis engines pulled up, so hit points starting to drop. Here comes the Biggins down the flank. Should be able to intercept them with some zombies and other stuff just to keep them busy. Corpse Cart is within support range. Not doing well. Not doing well for the skeletons, but it is the Crimson Killers. Invocation of Nehek should help keep all the vampire units alive longer. The Mortis engine. Look at the terror here in the center. Savage Orc Biggins routing. They just came back. Azag the Slaughterers there in the center. Vlad von Karstein's going to be very difficult for any of the Greenskins to kill here. Very good performance going on versus the Black Orcs over here. Crimson Killers just chewed their way through the skeletons. Right down to the bone. Cryptor's doing a good job, though. These archers are going to be annoying. The Mortis engine, though, look at this, just coming right back into the Crimson Killers, trying to do damage. And it's doing a little bit of damage, but it's also just parked here, like ripping hit points off of this really expensive unit. The Goblin Archers, try as they may, they're firing away into this fight, but it's just not doing anything. And Azag the Slaughterer gets owned by the Vampirus, and look at her chasing him down, man. Look at her go. She's like angry like she was on a bad date or something right there. Got the Cryptors and other stuff over here. I mean, this all these support units. I've never seen a vampire build quite like this. It looks like it's actually going to work pretty beautifully versus the Greenskins here. All the buffs just make sure that all their units are going to perform a little bit better than they normally would. 15 kills on the Spearmen. Skeleton Warriors with 17 kills. The Crimson Killers got 90 kills, but they're just getting munched by this Mortis engine and the Cryptors. So, very nice performance there. The Corpse Cart being a big nuisance here, too. But, I can't tell exactly what all those icons are down there. I mean, this vampire build just wrecked the Greenskins here. Skeleton Spears were chasing some archers back here. Azag might come back from routing here, but we'll see. He's pretty weak at this point. Zombies just out here eating up ammo. That's game over, folks. That is game over. Did he even use the boar chariot? Yeah, he got 32 kills. I've never found chariots to be super useful here, to be honest. These night goblins are they unbreakable? Yeah, they are. So the battle's going to go on while these night goblins try and finish it off. Check out that Mortis engine. Such a cool looking unit. Then the Corpse Cart, also a cool looking unit. These night goblins are not liking life right now. But that's okay, they won't be alive for much longer. Do the vampires welcome dead greenskins or gobos? I never see them, so I'm going to assume no. Oh man, 2 Mortis engines. Cryptors. Yeah, this is not gonna be well. Nighty night, night goblins. You brave little princes. Sleep well. Oh wow. This is just hilarious. One of the reasons why I like Warhammer. Just look at all these redonkulous units just going at it. Oh, the cinematic value of this game. It is good. So that was a pretty fun replay. That was a pretty fun one. I have one more that someone sent in where once again they're playing Ninja Hunt. Ever since I showed Ninja Hunt, I've been getting people sending me these, and I'm just showing them. I like to see people like Ninja Hunt do well, since he's hopefully bringing more people into Total War multiplayer. I've seen some of you making comments saying like, oh, he did this or he did that. I don't really care. I don't get into all the drama. I just want people to be watching Total War on Twitch or YouTube and enjoying it and building it up. And as long as I think that's what someone's doing, then I'm happy for them. So that's kind of the approach that I take. Everybody's got different personalities, and I don't get too caught up in that. Let's see here. I'm proud of him. He's doing pretty well over on Twitch. So Ninja Hunt's got his Wurzag army, which we've seen before. So he's wanting to go for the insta-crush with the dancing green prophet here. And I've seen him use this in his streams. He does pretty well with it most of the time. I like this map. It's kind of cool with all these like little stunted trees and stuff out here in the, what is this, the Badlands probably? Creative Assembly put some pretty sweet details on the map in this game. I like it. Alright, let's check out the Empire army here. See what he's going to try and use to shut down Wurzag. I like the flying general here. This is what I've used against Wurzag as well, because then if you don't bring him down, the effigy to get, all it can do is freeze him in place. And the Greenskins' missiles aren't really good enough to bring down a flying monster quick enough. But, I mean, Wurzag can still do some damage with the effigy to get, but Like I said, not on the ground means you're safe. Just got standard swordsmen, a lot of handgunners. I'm seeing 4 handgunners at the moment, 4 standard swords, a couple spears, maybe 5 standard swords. Yeah, it looks like 5 maybe. And then a couple of demigryph knights, so some pretty strong cavalry. Halberds, and then the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Let's see, and then of course the Goblin Army here is the same one we've seen from Ninja Hunt before too. We got a couple of goblins on each flank, some nasty skulkers, black orcs down the center, and rusty heirs, Ragnarok Queen, squig herds. So really isn't a bad build. It's not super strong in terms of infantry, but it focuses a ton of power right in the center, where I think that the idea is that you catch an unsuspecting opponent right where you want them, and in that case it will be absolutely devastating, no doubt about it. But the weaknesses of this army is that, you know, if you start picking apart the bits and pieces of it, not playing the way that it wants to play, you'll give yourself a lot better chance. Let's watch what happens here. Get a little bit of cinematic. These greenskin shrines and stuff here, I like it. Really setting the mood here. Here comes the prancing kitty cat knights. Meow. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. Please still watch my videos. I'm sorry. Alright. We'll just move forward. Didn't happen. Yeah, his infantry here for the Empire is going to get riz-acked. But you know what? I actually see a pretty good position here. And I don't know if he'll take use of it or not. But if he were to line up, now of course it puts him right up against the line, so if his guys rout, they're going right off the battlefield. But you see this little bit of a incline here? If his infantry were to sit at the base of this, and then his gunners were to sit right here, up a little bit on the height, they can actually shoot down into the infantry fight without hitting their own men. Gives them a pretty superior position. Whereas down here you can see this flat ground will actually obstruct their line of sight some, but we'll just see how it works. They can still shoot at certain targets depending on kind of the terrain and what those targets are and blah blah blah. They'll be really good against the Ragnarok Queen, but she's going to bring up her spider brood right in the middle of this, no doubt. Yep, there they are. So again, I'm going to pause it real quick just so y'all can see this. Using the spider hatchlings here, this is a pretty typical play when someone's going to bring the Ragnarok Queen. And you're going to end up with arachnophobia real quick. The net of Amantok being cast right here in the center. So nice play. It's going to stick the spider there. Lots of shots incoming. Looks like the spearmen coming up on one side at least to help with the squigs. Squigs are going to do really well. These demigryph knights are going to just absolutely wreck their way through whatever infantry except for the black orcs. Greenskins hitting the flanks here. Swordsmen coming in. Swordsmen trying to stop the spider hatchlings, and the general of the Empire is going to come assist. Wurzag is in the center, and it looks like Squigs maybe coming over here after the general of the Empire, and the main beating part of the Greenskin army just pounding its way straight down the center at the Empire captains. I don't think, yeah, he played Effigy to get there, I think. No, I don't think he's played it yet. Maybe he did. Because, yeah, there's a lot of damage here. He may have played Effigy to get. He may not have, though, because there's just like a triple teaming going on here. Rusty Heirs shooting at the general of the Empire, so that's a nice call. You can see the main line kind of collapsed like you would expect. But as the gunners scoot back and the net of Amantok comes in, the damage to the spider is going to be massive. And then the Demigryph Knights are running some charges right now that ought to be pretty effective. Royal Altdorf Griffites, though, caught up with Black Orcs. Really not a fight that they want to stay in. Rusty Heirs are going to get hit by the general, and look at that extended net. All these gunners out here getting really nice shots on the Ragnarok Queen. She's going to get into these gunners, but there's the Griffites right here, too. Ragnarok's going to bite it. And this one Empire captain still very much alive. More and more of the gunners falling. But with the Ragnarok Queen exiting the premises here, might start to turn around a little bit more. The Rusty Heirs are going to get caught. The General of the Empire is still very alive. Like I said, I'm not sure if I've seen the effigy at the get yet. One of the Gobbo big bosses routing in the face of the Altdorf Griffites. Demigryph Knights now taking quite a bit of damage, but they're alive, and keeping them alive should keep the Greenskins away from the remaining gunners. And these gunners are going to be free to fire away into the backs of these infantry fights, and it's going to be pretty brutal. They're also going to be good against Black Orcs here. So definitely a tight fight. Nets of Amontok just keep coming in though, and that's going to prevent these squigs from getting here. I think, yep, it's going to stop the squigs. Gonna stop the squigs. So looking pretty winnable at the moment due to the presence of the Light Wizard and then the Empire Captain and the Gunners. They should be able to shoot apart the remainder of this greenskin army. Ragnarok Queen came back from routing, but she is very damaged, and it looks like Ninja Hun's going to admit defeat there. Let's take a look at the results screen. So like I said, that can definitely be the weakness of this army is if you don't get to use its strength to a decisive effect really at the right moment, then it can fall apart in the end. And all the armor-piercing damage from the handgunners was actually a really nice counter to the Ragnarok Queen. Puts a ton of damage on her really quick and really takes away her ability to influence the fight. Squigherd's still getting some decent kills. Both Black Orcs getting some decent kills, but the units they're getting kills on are really cheap. So the trade in the end, I mean, they weren't anywhere near dead, so they still had a lot of work they could get done, so they were doing well. The Skulkers right here actually doing pretty good for their cost, but I mean, just the main pieces of this army here were falling apart, which means that sooner or later it would have unraveled. But definitely an interesting battle there. I like that one. Wasn't a vampire battle, but hey, you know, we can talk about stuff besides vampires sometimes. It's all right. I appreciate it being sent in. Appreciate those who send replays. You can do so at errortotalwar@gmail.com. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I appreciate the vampire battle that was sent in too. What do you all think of that? Using lots of Mortis engines and corpse carts in order to support an army like that. Have you ever tried something like that? Do you think it works out well? Do you think it has limitations, like certain factions you wouldn't want to bring it against? Like maybe factions who have a lot of really good range. The Greenskins don't have great range, and the Beastmen wouldn't have great range. But what about like the Empire with lots of options, or the Dwarfs? The Dwarfs have a lot of options too. Would you want to try that same army? I'd just be curious to see your thoughts. I might have to try it out myself. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will see you all soon. Thank you. And yeah, I guess I'm just repeating myself. Thank you for being awesome viewers. I'll see you on the next video.